folks. So, what a tune, eh? Ghost Town by the Specials. Great band, great song, very much of its time. Written by Jerry Darmers, who was the guy behind the Specials. He was also the guy behind Two Tone Records, which is the label it was released on. Also, the Selector were also on the Two Tone record label, as well as a few others. Very much part of the Two Tone ska scene. If you don't know anything about Two Tone, it was all about like diversity, black and white working together. The youth of the country, doesn't matter what colour your skin is, we're all facing the same problems. That's basically what it was saying. And there was a whole movement going on in the late 70s and early 80s, Rock Against Racism movement, because the National Front at the time was quite prevalent in this country. Weren't good times. There was an awful lot of unrest as well, political unrest in the country, a lot of riots going on. The country was being deindustrialized. There was the miners' strikes when they were trying to shut down all the coal mines, and they did shut down all the coal mines in the country, and put thousands and thousands of people out of work, and basically robbed the future of a lot of the young men of the country, young men and women of the country. So yeah, a lot of unrest, a lot of fighting, a lot of riots. A lot of political problems going on at the time. Not like today, yeah. Anyway. So, the tune itself. So, we're starting off. If you've looked this up at all, you've probably, I wouldn't be surprised if you've been put off. You see the lyrics written down, you see the chord names above it, and there's some mental chord names in there, some really crazy sounding chords, and you think, I have no idea what that is. And then you look up the little chord window shapes that appear above the lyrics, and yeah, they don't make much sense either, and it certainly doesn't sound anything like the song, or the chords don't seem to fit. So those things tend to show generic voicings rather than the voicings used in the particular song. So hopefully be able to clear that up for you. Don't panic, it's not as hard as it looks. We're only playing pretty much chord-wise. We're only using the G, D, the G, B, and E strings, the high E strings, so the top three strings, pretty much the whole way through. A couple of little riffs and that will maybe go down to the D and the A string once or twice, and that's it. The rest of it's pretty simple. Chord-wise, it's pretty simple. There's a lot of movement, and when you try and fit in the melodies like I'm doing there, it can trip you up trying to get it to fit in the rhythm properly, but just practice it, you'll get it. So we start off with this chord down here, which I believe is an E flat diminished 7 or something like that. Slide it up one fret to get the E diminished 7. What it is first finger B string first fret, second finger G string second fret, ring finger E string second fret. So almost like an upside down D chord. Move that one fret, and again, and again, and again. So we got 1. The count is 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we go into the intro, or I think in what I looked it up as, it called it theme 1 and theme 2. Verse, theme 1, theme 2, because there's no chorus as such. So we'll call this theme 1. That part there. So if you don't want to play the melody part, because in the original tune the guitarist isn't playing that, it's done on keyboards I think, or maybe even brass, I'm not sure. We start off with barring the G, B and high E strings on the 8th fret. That gives us a C minor chord. Then on top of that, I'm going to, because I'm just going to go back and forwards between the two chords, I'm just going to hold that there the whole time because I can. The next chord is going to be 2nd fret on the 9th fret, 2nd finger on the 9th fret, sorry, ring finger on the 10th and pinky on the 10th. Ring fingers on the G and the pinkies on the high E. Now my right hand, I'm going to try and keep that rhythm going as much as I possibly can. There are bits through the melody bits where I'm going to have to break it, and then I'm going to have to try and pick it up again in time, which can be a bit tricky and could take a bit of practice. So I'm kind of slightly palm muting those strings. If I slightly, but there's not much in it. I'm not lifting my finger off the strings here. My right hand, left hand. I'm not going to lift my finger off the strings at all. But I am going to stop squeezing. And see, it might be worth just practicing that for a little while first until you kind of get used to the sound that you want to make and try and get the rhythm right so that you are hitting on the offbeats, not on the beats. Apart from the very first note, which has to hit on the beat. So that first note is the 8th fret on the B string. So it's the middle of this chord shape here. And then I come down to the high E string on the 7th fret, hammer on and off to the 8th, and then come across to the 9th on the D, and then back to the 8th on the B. So then I come over to the D string on the 10th fret, back to the B string on the 8th fret, slide it down to the 7th, and then I'm going to slide up from the 8th to the 10th on the G string, and then from the 8th down to the 7th on the G string. Like that. Repeat that first part again. This time when we come down, we're going to go. So B string on the 8th, G string on the 10th, 11th for the D string, then 10th on the D string, and then the 9th on the G string, and then we come over to the 11th on the A string. So that's 11th on the A string, 7th on the D string, 9th on the D string, 9th on the G string, and 9th on the B string. And then we're into the actual verse itself, which again is just those same two chords vamped backwards and forwards. Seems to go on for ages, but if you kind of keep it going in your head, you'll get the right amount. So this time, nothing like a ghost town. All the clubs are being closed down. This town is coming like a ghost town. Then we jump down to the 6th fret, just like we played that C minor there, we're going to drop it down to an A sharp minor, I think it is, or it's a B flat minor. So three strings, so G, B, and high E string held down on the 6th fret, and then we do a full bar on this, so like 4 chinks, and then up to a D, and that is 7th fret on the high E, and then 9th fret on the G and the B. That's the first verse, that's the first theme and the first verse done, and that's probably the majority of the tune. We again come to this section here, which I think is called Theme 2. So that part there, again, if you look at the way that the song's written down with the lyrics and the chord names on there, with those chord names, absolute nightmare. So to play, it's actually fairly simple. All that's happening here is we start off with basically C minor. So we've got our first finger on the 3rd fret of the high E string, 2nd finger on the B string on the 4th fret, and 5th fret on the G string. And what's going to happen here is we come down this G string. These 2 fingers are going to stay, the B and the E strings are going to pretty much stay where they are, but the G string is going to walk down. So which is pretty cool. So yeah, B and D strings, B strings on the 4th fret, and E strings on the 3rd fret. We start off with the G string on the 5th, then we go to the 4th, then we have to flip our hands round, and so we can get to the 3rd, and that's like a D shape moved up 1 string. And then we drop it down 1 more. So the G string's now on the 2nd fret. And then we jump up to this diminished chord whose name I can never remember. But what we've got here is 7th fret on the G, 6th fret on the B, 4th fret on the high E. And then we go back to that C minor chord that we started with. Then there's that little fill. So all I'm doing here again, G string, 7th fret, and I'm barring the B and the E strings on the 6th, and then I go back to that diminished chord. So the 6th fret stays where it is on the B string, and the high E string drops down from the 6th to the 4th, and then it repeats. This time you stop there, and we're coming into the bridge part. So again, it's the very first introduction chords, so that just repeats, and then we go into so we've gone to D flat to G flat. When we come to the G flat the second time round, you stop it like 1 beat early and then move up to the G and play the beat there, and then it basically repeats after that. And that's pretty much the whole tune. Hope you enjoy it, and I hope that helps clarify some of it. I'm sure the chord windows up here that have been sorted will definitely help you with what's going on. If you're having any trouble with it, like always, give me a shout in the comments and I shall try and help you explain anything that I've missed or anything that you're not sure about. And also, if you enjoyed this one, hit the like button, maybe watch a couple more of my videos, all helps. Cheers folks, thanks for watching.